Matt. Oh, sweet dear Matt. You have just come back from the show floor of Gamescom 2023 after playing Lords of the Fallen. How are you feeling and how sweaty are your armpits?
Very. My hands even sweatier. It didn't go well for me, I'll be honest with you. I'm okay with Souls games. I'm pretty okay with Souls games usually. I got my ass handed to me quite a bit.
That's a real shame, but kind of to be expected because this is one of those games where you are just going to be absolutely floored and pasted and then both done again until you find out the right rhythm. But here's the thing. I played Lords of the Fallen, the first one. Unfortunately, I didn't get around to completing it. Do I need to have actually completed this game to jump in with this new one that's coming out?
No, absolutely not. Like, this is, I guess, like a soft reboot or just a hard reboot. I don't know. But, like, it feels like a completely different game. It's been a long time since that first game came out, and I think they're distancing themselves as far away from it as they possibly can. We kick off here with some, like, lovely, beautiful cinematics and classic kind of really high fantasy. I have no idea what anybody's saying or talking about sort of story. But it looks pretty, I guess, and I'm intrigued, I guess, to find out more.
Okay.
But yeah, like, the story-wise, I don't think you're going to be lost at all. And gameplay-wise, I mean, it's Dark Souls, everybody. Like, the menu screens look like Dark Souls. The moment-to-moment gameplay looks like Dark Souls. It's doing some interesting, unique stuff. So there's a mechanic with a lantern in the game. So the lantern is going to let you see into the... Can't remember the name of the other world.
There's like an alternate world, isn't there, that exists. It's like Land of the Living, Land of the Dead style thing.
Yeah, exactly that. And so you'll lift up this lantern, you'll be able to see what looks different in the other world, and you'll decide, okay, maybe I want to travel to that other world because there's a bridge over this gap that I can't access otherwise.
Amazing.
But now that you're in the other world, the longer that you stay in there, the more dangerous it's going to get and the harder the enemies are going to get.
Oh,
so
okay.
you're constantly looking for little portals that will take you out of that other world, back into the real world, which quite frankly is just as dangerous. But yeah, that's kind of what the kind of loop of the game is based around.
Do you get like better rewards and stuff the longer you stay in there? Like, because I'm imagining if the enemies get tougher and tougher, I'm imagining they yield greater XP bonuses and stuff like that for doing it.
Potentially. That wasn't clear from the demo that I played. But yeah, absolutely, that could definitely be a thing, and I guess we'll see more when the game's out.
So what did you actually get to experience? Where were you? Were you in some sort of musty, dusty castle? Were you on some sort of forlorn battlefield? What was the
A bit of both, to be honest with you. So I played from the very start of the game, so you get to pick from one of 9 classes at the start of the game. You've got kind of all of your classic, Dark Souls archetypes in there, including the Wretch from Dark Souls. I can't remember what it's called in this game, but it's a very similar vibe of...
The Stanky.
Exactly. I want none of my abilities leveled up, and I want to just have the worst possible time with this game, which I didn't pick for the demo. I picked the Raven Hunter, I believe, or something. It'll be on screen now. You'll figure it out. But very Bloodborne vibes. Okay. Very, very Bloodborne vibes from this character.
Bloodborne,
and I love Bloodborne.
That's a good thing.
And you know what? It played very similarly, apart from the fact that they're leaning into the more fantasy elements of giving you a shield and that kind of being an element. One of the things that I think it differs from Dark Souls quite considerably is, like, bow and arrow was very useful in this game, I found.
Awesome.
And I know people can spec themselves into bow and arrow in Dark Souls, although not a lot of people do.
Let's face it, those people are a different breed of masochist.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
But it was very useful, right? Like, if you're dealing with a group of enemies and you're a little bit low on health, you back out. Oh, one of them's kind of low on health. I can pop him with a bow and arrow, move on, that kind of thing. So yeah, so really intriguing, right? Like, I think if you're into those Souls games, then this is perfect for you, right? Like, it's such a step up from the original Lords of the Fallen. Like, I'm almost wondering why they bothered with the same name, Like it feels like a whole new thing.
Slightly confusing, but then again, if you're doing a soft reboot, there's no better way than having a similar branding trade on that.
Absolutely. But yeah, definitely more excited for it after playing for 30 minutes.
The question that I think that I have, though, is you've gotten through sort of like the lantern, you've gone through the different areas, you've fought a few of the enemies. What was the boss? Because there's always a boss that you have to face. And any demo will always end with a big climactic fight. Who was it against? And, more importantly, did you hand him his own ass?
Very much no. So it does this interesting thing. So everybody who plays Dark Souls games will know the first boss is supposed to kill you, or really the first enemy you run into, right, is supposed to kill you, and that's supposed to introduce the mechanic of you coming back to life or whatever. They do it here with a boss that is incredibly easy to beat. So the first boss I came up against, I was like, the first try, no problem at all. And I was like, something ain't right here. Cutscene, second stage of that boss fight. Insta-death.
Oh, just obliterated.
Yeah, exactly. So it knows very much what it's doing in that sense. And then, I got to 2 more bosses, I think. So one I beat and one I didn't. But that last one, I was running out of time and I was just sprinting through, and they were like, you should be way more leveled up for this boss fight than you are. But there we go.
What's the sort of enemy designs like? Are they drawing on any specific style of fantasy? Or is it like giant knights? Is it draconic style guard? Or is it mutants and horrible monsters and stuff like that?
So I think probably for the beginning of the game, right, like it was a lot of kind of your stereotypical zombie undead stuff going on. A couple of like witches like throwing fireballs and stuff like that. I'm sure that there's like really deep lore to all of this that we just don't get like when we're in a 30 minutes hands-on session at Gamescom. But the bosses definitely showed off some of that more unique enemy type that we're going to be experiencing, right? Like huge dragons and all sorts of fantasy stuff like that. I won't get into it too much. But yeah, like I think there's definitely going to be variety there from what I've seen.
Do you feel like that it's done enough to elevate or distance itself from being just called a like a Soulsborne clone? Because at the end of the day, no one needs another video out there titled X is Dark Souls for this generation. Like we don't need that anymore. So what is it doing to push the thing forward? The lantern? Good start.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's probably what it is leaning on most. Like from moment to moment gameplay, like you're going to be very at home here if you're a Souls fan. I think that lantern exploration, right, almost giving every zone you go into 2 versions of that level, and like you say, is there different loot in each version, right? Like where can I explore that I can't explore anywhere else? I did often find myself forgetting about that lantern mechanic, and then as soon as I teleported into the other world, I was like, I should backtrack all the way here to see exactly what I'd missed along the way. Because you can pull it up at like random points. You haven't got to like force yourself into that world.
Okay.
You can pull it up and just have a look around
peek.
and go, nope, no thank you, and walk away. Like, so yeah, it's a really interesting mechanic. Be really excited to see what they do with it. Yeah,
that sounds really, really good. I'm actually quite interested in this now. I think you've sold it to me because the fact that they've a bit of difference in the exploration, that's what I like the most about it. Anything that takes it less from just being a clone to more sort of Metroidvania exploration, going back on yourself, I'm keen for. So that has been Matt's time with Lords of the Fallen. Make sure that you subscribe to the FGS socials so that you can stay updated on all things Dark Souls-esque, as well as our regular gaming content. Remember, it's going to be on screen right now, so do it, or I'll come to your house and I'll beat you up. I've been Jules, this has been Matt, and we'll see you soon.